this is going to be more ambient tips, or another ambient tip. What we're talking about today is just straight ambient playing, taking what you're playing and making it ambient. A lot of times as electric guitar players, that's what we're asked of these days, is to just fill the sound out. You don't maybe necessarily want swells or techniques that are calling attention to yourself as a guitar player. People just want the sound full. So right now I'm just using one reverb and one delay. I'm using the Strymons, which are great for this, but I'm going to show how you can get that with just normal pedals without having to be, a spokesman for Strymon or something. As wonderful as Strymon is, let's make sure we say that. So what I'm doing here is mainly touch, and then a bit of theory as well. Touch, theory, and gear all go together, because without touch, I've got that, which is what I don't want, and without theory, then I've just got just like a mesh of nothingness, and then of course without gear, we really have a dry sound, which can be nice, but you have to play a lot more. So the pedals help a lot. If you want a mix rolled back with a lot of repeats and a long time, the long time helps a lot. I'm going to play just the sound, and then if you've got, that's just the delay right there. If you've got brown or dark or a tone knob or something on your delay, roll it back so that the repeats aren't crisp. Just melding. And the reason we do that is because that repeats it, and that allows the reverb to constantly be melding something rather than just one. Because with just a reverb, here's just the reverb, I've got modulation, a lot of pre-delay. Pre-delay is kind of the key, because it takes away some of your attack. Alright, so that's the sound, but I don't get any sustain. So I add one delay pedal. Now it just keeps going without calling much attention to itself as a delay pedal, okay? I'll like to pick through this. You really have to think about what notes you're hitting. I'll pick through, or I'll even pick through a song. You don't want to do a song with a lot of notes for something like With or Without You. It just starts to mesh a little too much, okay? If I was going to do With or Without You, or one of the 50,000 other songs with that chord progression, I'd probably just roll through the chord progression on my own. Sevenths are your friends, thirds are your friends, fifths. Try to stay away from any type of fourth, and then try and stay away from the sixths too. Arcade Fire, you can trace through that. That song's got a great melody. So how's that one go? Chillest version of that song ever, but you can kind of see how you can do that with the different songs with these two pedals. The other thing you can do is, with the knowledge of theory and knowledge of what you're doing, you can actually go out of the key. So let's try Hey Jude goes out of the key. So I don't want to do ba-da-da-da because it's going to get let's try this with just the wet so you can see how that sounds. The wet, you just put it to extreme settings and it'll pretty much... Promised that we would do this with delay. So let me take the timeline to an extremely digital setting, okay? I'm gonna drop it down to about a millisecond of delay time. Take off all the grid, all the filter, just make it just a digital delay. Turn up the repeats and drop the mix. Okay, so that's what we've got here. I need a little slower. There we go. Okay, and then so the repeats are real crisp. If you have any type of darkness, you'd want to turn it off. But turn on a reverb with a lot of pre-delay, and with just a little bit of like a lighter touch, and being careful about what notes you hit. You can still make it work. If I turn up the filter here, just hear the much more beautiful or just wash. And then turn up the grid a little bit as well. Because with the delays on, that wonderful finger slide that you get when you're playing just acoustically actually like stays with you with the delay. So I try, and unless I really want kind of a little sound, which can be cool sometimes, do some of that. But if not, I try and mute through some And then another thing that I'll do, I'm going to go back to the brig, turn off the timeline, is I will add in any type of analog delay at almost full settings, 300 milliseconds, a ton of repeats. Because it takes away, the two delays together, takes away some of the wanting to play with one of the delays, because your brain can't latch to a tempo, which is great. And then it also adds a little sparkle, because things just happen. Okay, so you can still play just another effect. It's like Arcade Fire in the Brazil or something. All right. Different guitars will work very well and nicely for this. The Les Paul gives you that nice big blanket. Okay, I'm going to split this back coil, give it more of a telly sound, which is like it cuts a little more, a little thinner, but yet it like envelops you more, which is great. The Strat's going to sound like a Strat, which is nice sometimes, and a hollow body can have the tendency to get a little feedbacky on this, but the sustain's real nice. You can use this sound as well with swells, and then you can mix in your picking, and then swell back in, mix in a little picking, okay, good, swell back in, and you can also use this sound to swell with a little bit of overdrive. I'm going to use some fuzz so that it's just really raunchy. Okay, you kind of hide that in the background. That can be nice for certain intros. We can go a little less if that's too much. That's just rhythm right there, which is why you want to be careful with your volume pedal and why the swell and the smoothness of it is so incredibly important. And I think that is all we have. And then lastly, I'm going to give you the settings that I've got everything on. A lot of people have these pedals, so we'll show some settings. Yeah, let's see if you can see that area on under there. Just turn the area on all the way up. How about that?